All right, Rodney. Last week, the New Orleans Pelicans suspended Zion Williamson for one game for a violation of team policy. The suspension is reportedly coming from tardiness on several occasions. Now, since then, he did play in 2 games, averaging 18.5 points, 6 assists. Zion has played in just 9 games overall this season. He could miss a second straight game this week for conditioning. But it's clear to most of us that Zion is ready to leave New Orleans, maybe for a bigger market. But Rodney, is Zion serious enough to be in the NBA at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, all right, one of my really good friends is Tobias Harris. And we would often talk about how where you are drafted will determine how your career goes. And had Zion been drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, I feel like his career would have been a lot different. And so he's still young enough. I think he's only like 24, 25 years old. He is still young enough to be put into an environment that teaches him how to be an actual professional. I don't remember who Zion's vets were when he got drafted to the Pelicans. I don't know that he's been surrounded by a front office that is making sound decisions. Again, being drafted to the city of New Orleans, period, was like a terrible, terrible situation that he got placed into just based on the fact that the food is too good. It's too good. But clearly he has not been brought along in a professional environment that showed him how to be a professional. But I think a change of scenery will probably do him some justice, as long as it is to a team and an organization that has strong leadership. It has to have strong leadership, both with the players and in the front office. Outside of that, it's not going to work.
So at what point do we put the onus on players to come to the league and be professionals?
Well, it depends.
But I'm saying he came from Duke. I don't think that Duke is an unprofessional organization. They're not they're not an unprofessional program. I feel like most people that are coming out of Duke, when they got to the league, are a little bit more professional than Zion has been. Like, you're making all of this money. You don't have anybody on your team that's telling you what you shouldn't be eating, what you should be eating, who you need to be messing with.
Well, you can't stop the latter part.
Being on time. Because you're talking about food. I wrote right here, food. What about the women? Like, you don't have anybody in your camp that's
Samaria.
Samaria.
If I like big butts, you ain't stopping me from chasing fat asses.
There's a difference between a big butt and a nasty butt.
See, them butts. Your hamburger might be my steak.
The point I'm trying to make is, Rodney, is that you're making so much money. You were drafted number 1 overall. Like, at a certain point, you got to come into a situation a little bit more serious. And I don't feel like he's been serious. And I don't think that him going to a bigger market or a better franchise is going to make him more serious. That's what I'm because like even little things like being on time, Rodney, he's been in the league too long to not be on time.
Yes, but if you have not been nurtured by strong leadership, like he came into the league as a boy. I don't care what you say. Like, Duke's professional environment don't matter. He came in the league at 19 years old. That's a boy. Okay, so as a boy, he was not put around strong male leadership in that new professional environment. So he developed really bad habits. If Zion Williamson was drafted by the Miami Heat, he would be a different person. He'd be regarded as a different kind of person because Pat Riley would have had his foot up his ass. So I can't even tell you who was in the front office for the New Orleans Pelicans. Do you? And I'm not trying to say that because, you know, that person is not.
Do they not have a black woman in the front office?
I don't know, because they just fired. Didn't they fire a female coach?
Yeah, so they have Swin Cash. She's the senior vice president of basketball operations.
Respectfully, I said strong male leadership, and I'm not. And again, I'm not. I need to say this, and I'm gonna stop like backing down and tapering down the fact that I am a man. The way men interact is very important. It's very important for men to lead men in certain regards, in certain aspects. The female influence, the feminine energy is very important as well. But there is something to be said about being a man who is a leader of men. And with all due respect to Swin Cash, I'm sure she's doing a phenomenal job. For energy and an entity like Zion Williamson, he just might need somebody that he actually physically fears. right? And so that is something that sometimes can help a young man shape up and act and walk in accordance with how we think that he should exist. It is time for him to get out of New Orleans, but I don't want to see him in Los Angeles. I can't imagine his ass running around this city with all of these women. He needs to be in a Miami. He needs to be in a San Antonio.
Oh, Miami's
and maybe
better?
even because of Pat Riley. Because of Pat Riley.
Okay, but I think that there's still. I think
or Detroit, or go to Detroit. Ain't shit in Detroit. Shout out to the D.
Wait a minute. Dang. How we catch it straight? Anyways, I think that I get what you're saying, right? I think that he should be a part of a better organization, but I do feel like we have to put a little bit on Zion too. He has to step up and really want it for himself. And the money that he makes, he has to have also a team around him. It's clear that he's being failed from all angles because he doesn't even have a team. Right.
I know people on his team, so I gotta be mindful. I gotta be careful. Like one of the people on his team is actually like a really, really close homegirl of mine. So I can't agree. Can't offend my political connects.
I just feel like you cannot make the franchise and the front office and the coaching and whoever the veterans were culpable, and you don't call out his team too, because those are the people that are around him every day. Those are the people that's driving him to Mother's and get that shrimp etouffee and them catfish platters.
Hey, but listen, that's hard to turn down. The craziest thing about the Zion situation is his contract has incentivized performance metrics, so he doesn't even get the full breadth of his money if he doesn't hit certain performance goals. And I would imagine, with having only played 9 games this season, he is probably way behind where he should be. And so he will get less money. And if that is not incentive enough for him to be a better version or the best version of himself, then there is something a little bit awry. I just don't know if it's with Zion or if it's with this organization that we've also seen players like Anthony Davis run from, players like Chris Paul run from. And so this just might be, a byproduct of being part of that organization.
Well, you let us know down in the comments, what do you make of Zion Williamson only playing 9 games this season? Is it time for him to move on? Is it time for him to grow up? Let us know down in the comments.